And we're live.
We're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Sites with Katie Mabrey on Deep Dives in the Desert. We are so excited to do this one. We had a series of things happening, right, Katie? And we were like, we can't wait until we get to talk about this one.
Yeah, this one's going to be really good.
Yeah. So we've got some pictures to share and, all of that. So hi to Tim and Ken. Thank you guys for being here.
Victor.
Hey, Victor, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. So do you want to get started with the pictures? Or you want to talk a little bit about it first?
Let's talk a little bit about it.
Okay.
Tell everybody where we went.
Yeah, that was interesting. So Katie and I were together in Sedona for the Odyssey Sedona. That was Tony Rodriguez's first conference, which was awesome. And we did a show about that. And then we decided that she was going to come and join me. And I'll let you talk about the rest of that.
Yeah, Lisa was telling me about this area that's, I don't know if it's quite an hour from Vegas, probably a little less than an hour from like downtown Vegas to the Strip. But it's over on the west side of Vegas, right? The mountains on the west side. And I've heard of people talk about this place before. I don't think I was clearly not ready for how gorgeous and amazing it actually was.
You don't think about that in Vegas, right?
No, right? And it was pretty cool too, especially compared to Sedona where we had been. But it's those mountains. I mean, every time I've gone to Vegas, I've always looked over to those mountains over to the west and kind of wondered what's over there. But yeah, we actually got to go explore it this time a little bit. And when you're driving in to this area,
are we back?
I mean,
we kind of went out over here. I don't know. Hi, Nancy. Good to see you, Nancy. Sorry. So go back a little bit. You were talking about that. Hi, Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
You were talking about, and then we kind of froze, at least over here. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
yeah, I kind of froze for a second. So yeah, you're leaving Vegas and you're driving out west, and then you kind of drive up to these mountains, and these mountains are just, I mean, Lisa and I were standing in the room that night, and we were just looking at them, and we were like, "There's like a crocodile, there's a dinosaur, there's a sleeping dragon." I mean, every one of them looks like a sleeping animal, reptilian of some sort. But it was a really beautiful area. It was also the first time I think I said I'd ever seen Joshua trees, right? Yeah.
And
seen a Joshua tree or knew what it was.
I couldn't wait for you to see this area, because I feel like when you're driving in, you go through like 3 different iterations of types of mountains to get there. And, the first ones to me look like somebody just took like scooped up dirt and created these mounds, almost like they were moving dirt, right? And they have like no form to them or anything. They just look like big, humongous mountain-sized and hill-sized dumps of dirt to me. And then you move into this very narrow pathway where the road is, and there's this very interesting change in the mountains, and they almost look like they're created by the wind, similar to Sedona in some ways, that they get in these very interesting shapes, but you really feel like there's more to them than just wind blowing to create something.
It literally feels like you're driving into like a whole different realm of sorts.
Yeah.
Like the energy changes, everything changes when you're driving in. I mean, obviously the landscape changes significantly, but within that, and it almost feels like that energy is kind of wombed into that specific area of that mountain range or something. Like it's just pulling everything, like all of these really incredible energies and pulling them all. And when I say pulling, I mean POOLING, like pooling them all together right there.
Yeah. And, I got so when I did meditations and things, when I was talking about this area, because there was a time when I was writing my book and before I was writing my book where I was kind of spending a lot of time in meditation and found myself in the mountain ranges around Las Vegas. And I kept wanting to move. And I was saying for like my entire adult life, that I'm 53 now, I have tried to move away from Las Vegas. I did do it twice, but I was back both times within a year.
Mhm.
And, it was like, why can't I leave this place? Like, I want to go somewhere green. I want somewhere with water. So I was talking to kind of my guidance about it. And they were telling me that basically my relationship with this place is very old. And one of the 2 or 3 places that I saw in my meditations was that area that you and I are talking about right now.
Mhm.
And I saw a huge, like miles long, I don't even, I just had the word and I lost it. Almost like a series of long buildings and people existing in this place. And it looked like ancient ruins, kind of, that we were looking at now. But they were telling me that my relationship to this area goes back that far. And it was back before, anything that we could think. We're not talking at Atlantis, or we're talking like
Right.
back, like back. So anyway, I was excited to see like what you kind of felt, because you're so intuitive with things and everything, especially in and around the planet.
Mhm.
And I couldn't wait. And so
Yeah.
when you were saying you felt like there was more, that I was like giddy. I was like,
It feels like really ancient, like really
Yeah.
ancient. I know I've heard. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around what I actually believe is like the truth of humans on Earth, and like when did the Anunnaki actually come in and all of that stuff. Some people say the Anunnaki created humans. I'm more of the belief that I think some humans were already here and the Anunnaki came in and tinkered with us. And so if that's the case, like it feels like it's definitely previous to the Anunnaki.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it feels like multiple suns ago, right? Like
Yeah.
really ancient. I've read a lot in the sands of time. There's a group of reptilians that you meet from inner Earth that are benevolent. They're somewhat mammalian because of the way they've evolved on Earth over the last 65 million years. They're vegetarians. They're kind of related to the dark vril lizard people. But it feels like something like this benevolent race of reptilians were surface dwellers at one point, quite a long time ago. I mean, I think even when like actual dinosaurs were on the earth and stuff. And so it feels like it's like that long ago. Like,
Yeah.
something that is more connected to like that group of benevolent reptilians that were surface dwellers before the Anunnaki came and shoved them underground.
Yeah.
So,
And,
I don't know. I
and
could be wrong, but that's what it feels like.
at least there's an aspect of that. I don't, you could kind of see where there could be more stuff, but there was some major dragon energy going on there. And when we were looking, as we were climbing up, so the next area after you kind of go through that area, which is, what would you say, like 10 minutes long, maybe, of driving back into that. And then it kind of changes again, and you get into like pine and these mountains that are just full of trees,
Very green.
very green and beautiful. And so then you have a whole nother iteration of what they look like. But those mountains up there, even if you're looking at them from certain angles, you almost look like you're looking at like a ridge of a back of something, like really large. Yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah, you can see like, and even when you're standing in the mountains, like back in, like kind of further back where you can go, and you're looking back at those other mountains that you just drove through, it's the kind of the same, like tons of ridges and long snouts and things like that you're like, man, there's definitely some strong dragon energy here.
Yeah. So we went to a place that I really wanted you to check out, and we wanted to sleep there so we could just kind of feel out the energy.
Yes. Yeah. Really cool. What was the name of it? Mount Charleston Resort?
Yeah.
Is that the name of it? A really, really cool little place. And It's so tucked in, and it's like the perfect little ambiance for inside those mountains. It's a really cool
Mhm.
spot. And I was really pleased with how cool it was there. Even if you're in the desert, a very cool little
Yeah.
area, which it's definitely like, I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with the green and the pines and how much fresh air there is right there too. So
Yeah. And then there's campgrounds kind of like right past it. And then you can go drive up the mountain more. And there's like a little town. And then after the town, there's this area where you can actually rent little cabins, like log cabins. And they're kind of all put together in this little pod area of all of these things, but they're overlooking some really beautiful places. And then they have those big houses that are like off the stilts of that. So, but I wanted to say before we get into the next aspect of this, we had been taking pictures the whole time and getting all of those things, and we went in like 24 hour. Our trip got shortened because we were going to go there for like 2.5 days or something like that, and so we ended up having like one night. So we were like, we want to go as many things as we can get to so we can do this. And when I came back to pull up the stuff to show you, so that I could pull it up on the computer, it was all gone. Everything was gone. It was off my phone.
that's weird.
There was nothing in my Google Drive for my personal one or the one for the channel. Everything was gone. And so that was crazy. But because I had sent you stuff and you had sent me stuff, and I had sent stuff to Johnny while we were up there, and my friend Allison, I literally was pulling from everybody to get what we got together.
We took a ton of pictures. That's weird.
Yeah. And it's like all gone. Like that whole other side when we went up, that whole other side, most of that is gone. And yeah. And so anyway, I thought that was interesting because it was like a jump from when we were in Sedona, and then it jumped to like November 5th. So I lost a week of stuff, but this stuff specifically was
That's crazy.
all gone.
That's weird.
Yeah. So when we're going to show where we were, so across the street from the resort that we were staying at was an interesting little cave high up on a mountain.
Very high up. I would say,
you want to go into
I'm trying to think of what the elevation was on that. I was a few hundred feet up. It was pretty high.
Yeah.
That's up there.
And Johnny and I had gone like a week before just to make sure that everything was open. It was good when you were going to come. And so when we did that, let me just hit the share button, I think, at the bottom. Sorry. And so when we did that, no, not yet. Sorry, guys. I got to find my, when we did that, we saw this little cave. I was hoping it would be. It's not. This isn't Mount Charleston. Okay, let me go to.
Zoomed in version.
No, but where's the Mount Charleston? There it is. Oh, where'd it go? Mount Charleston. Here we go. Sorry, guys. Okay, so this is the first picture of what we saw. And I'm going to try to zoom in the mountain. Can you see that? Okay?
That is cool. Look at that.
Yeah, we can see it.
So, and we were like looking and we were going like, okay, is that a like reflection? Is it
the sun creeping through?
Yeah. What do you think, Katie?
So the sun was off to the left, and so it wouldn't make sense for it to be the sun, because the sun would have had to have been shining from like over this way, right? But it was shining from this way, so it wouldn't make sense for it to be the sun because it was kind of in the shadow too. They said what they said was they called it the cave ghost, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they said that it had been showing up at 2:30 p.m. every day, but only for the last couple months.
Look at, they see the head. Yeah,
It changed a little bit here.
Yeah, it
Um,
kind of moves around.
Yeah. And because I wanted to make sure that, you know, it wasn't something that was just going to be some anomaly on, I went and I got a video, which I tried to, this is what the cave normally looked like, even afterwards when we went back to go look later. It was just like this cave. And that's what it looked like when Johnny and I were there. But I went back to try to just put a video on, just because I just want to make sure that it wasn't, you know, only going to show up for, let me make this, I'm trying to make
go to
it
settings.
settings. Nope.
Speed playback.
Speed. Nope.
No, that's it. That's the slowest it'll go.
Yeah, when I was trying to, well, anyway, okay. Zoom in. Do you hear that weird sound too, Katie?
Yeah, that's creepy.
We didn't hear that when we were.
Wow.
That's weird.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Weird.
Yeah. So let me see if I can get this. How do I get this off the screen?
Make it smaller.
Oh, that's it. Johnny has to, yeah, okay. So that was the first.
Yeah,
was
so
the
it
first
goes up
pilot.
at 2:30 every day. Just random. And it stays for what, like 15, 30 minutes, something like that?
Yeah, we were trying to wait. You and I were trying to stand there and kind of wait for a while. And Katie was so funny because we were standing there doing it, and she's going, "Hi, hello."
Wave at it.
She's like waving at it, and yeah. So then after we see that, and and then a guy approaches us, right? And he was like, "Oh, are you guys looking at the cave?" And we were like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Did you get any pictures of it?" And we say, "Yeah, we got some pictures of it." And he's like, "Did you zoom in?" Remember? And we were like, "Oh yeah, we zoomed in." And we were, so that happened, and that was crazy. Alexis is saying, "What is it?" Exactly, Alexis. You know, we're not exactly sure what exactly it was, but right after that, we had been planning to go drive up the mountain to Cathedral Rock. One, because Cathedral Rock was like another place that you really enjoyed in Sedona, and you really wanted to kind of see the energy of it, right, based on that. And so we were going to go do a meditation up there. And so we got in the car and we drove up there, and we kind of like had seen what time it was, right, when we got in the car. And at the base right before we got there, which was a 17-minute drive from my house, you had checked your gas and, you know, all of that stuff. We knew we were good to go, and we went up to the mountain. Yeah. And then you want to talk about that a little bit?
I mean, basically, we ended up having, it was around about a missing hour or so, and like a lot of gasoline.
Yeah.
Like we were almost out of gas. And I was like, Lisa, we left your house with way more than enough gasoline. It was only a 17-mile drive to get here. And I was like literally almost out of gas. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Plus it had been like
10 minutes more.
Yeah. I mean, the timing did not make sense. So it's kind of like we see this weird apparition. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we're missing time and missing gasoline.
Yeah. It was like an hour and 20 It was like an hour and 20 minutes. And
yeah,
we didn't notice that at that point. We went up the thing. It was like a 10-minute drive. We're talking. I remember it. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Drive and everything. Me too. I remember it. We go and we find this spot. And so we need to share again. We go to Cathedral Rock, and I'm going to show you the base of where we were. And then this story gets even more interesting because we are we still on?
Yeah.
Okay. So we go in and we are, let me see, we're Cathedral. Sorry, you guys. Okay. I had this in order, but as I added, it kept moving.
Wow.
This is where we were. So
Mhm.
this is Katie's car. We were kind of, I think we were like right over here, right, Katie?
Just, yeah, the bottom of these trees over to the right.
Yeah, and we didn't go in far because we found this clearing, but this is the area that we were at.
Oh, gorgeous.
Right? It was really beautiful. And so we laid out a blanket and everything.
Mhm.
And then go ahead, Katie. I'm trying to find
Yeah,
that.
so we were saying, well, real quick, Alexis asked what was it on the apparition, and we don't really know. They don't know what it is. Nobody there had any idea. I kind of got a little bit of a hint that maybe it was Mother Mary. And what's interesting is when I posted on Facebook, I had a couple different other people say the same thing. So we're kind of thinking maybe a little bit of Mother Mary vibes, but still interested to learn more and do more research on it. But yeah, so then we went over to Cathedral Rock and we're sitting here at the bottom of this mountain, and we just kind of intuitively, like, we had two of my bowls with me, and so we were going to do a meditation with the bowls, and so we didn't want to walk very far because we had the bowls with us. So we just kind of intuitively found this little spot over to the right where it was kind of off the beaten path, and kind of felt like we got led there. So we laid the blanket down and sat down, and we started playing the bowls and just kind of being meditative and kind of feeling into the energies and feeling into the land. And the sun is like shining light codes on us through the trees. I mean, it was just this perfect little spot, and it was pretty chilly, really cool little area. And then all of a sudden was that when the tree started talking to you?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the tree
Yeah.
talking to Lisa.
So this tree right here literally starts talking and is telling me that she was so proud of this little tree right here. I'm going to see if I can, this one right here. And she's telling me that they're all survivors and that she's so pleased and happy about this little tree. Now, Katie's playing bowls. You had the root chakra one, right? And the heart, is that the one
And
that
the
you
heart.
had?
Root and heart.
Yeah. So she's playing these trees, and I'm like, first not trying to interrupt, but then I'm like, Katie, this tree, and I'm telling her, now, you guys, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm just, for the sake of, I've never had a tree talk to me before. So it's not like I'm like, oh, and trees talk to me. No, this has never happened to me before. I was sitting here with her listening to the bowls, and this tree literally started talking to me. So I'm telling Katie, and then Katie had made like she turned her head or something, and she was over here, and I was saying to her, no, she said this one is her sister. Remember, Katie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's telling us about that, and she's saying that they're survivors. And I'm kind of like hearing the word survivor, and I'm saying this to Katie. And this is mountain started talking too. This mountain, I'll talk about that mountain in a second. She started showing me a fire that was burning through this area. And you see that these are scorched. You see how the branches are all dark and scorched. She was telling me about that. And then, Katie, you want to talk about this one?
Oh, yeah. This is one of the photos Lisa took. And if you zoom in, you can see it's an Arcturian being right there.
Oh,
and so this is like, yeah, this is over by Cathedral Rock, kind of like you'll see another being that's like way far away. So this is over at Cathedral Rock, but you can literally see Lisa and I are both extremely Arcturian.
Yeah.
whoa.
So this is one of our star families popping up for us saying hello.
And so we saw, she was telling us about how they had lost so many family members. And as I was looking around, I started noticing these stumps everywhere that I didn't realize. And that's when she was talking about this baby. Then she was saying to us that we walked right through their nursery. And I was like, oh, this is when John and I went back. I was taking pictures. I didn't feel like I got sufficient pictures to show that there had been a fire. So when John and I went back, I went back and I was trying to find, I'm sorry. This is, when John and I went back too, this was there. It was like a Sasquatch dwelling. But these are the babies.
That's the nursery.
And we had walked through, and you see where this parking lot is. This is where Katie's car was. Because I had somebody ask me, like, when I said about the gas, somebody said to me, are you sure that somebody didn't siphon out the gas? And I'm like, we were literally right there. Like,
we're like looking at the car.
Yeah. So,
yeah, we had like sat down and we didn't even realize. And Lisa was like, oh my gosh, we're in the nursery. And so as we're sitting there, we're looking around and there are baby trees everywhere around us. And she kept saying like, well, they got hurt in a fire. And so all these baby trees are starting to grow. And then I look down and we start seeing pieces of wood that are burnt.
Yeah.
From the fire.
Yeah, that was interesting. And then, let's see, that's a nursery with snow. These are like some burnt logs that I wanted to kind of go back and just show that there was actually,
so like they told us about the fire and then all of a sudden we started finding all the evidence.
And then Katie grabbed some of the burnt wood that was really close to us. Actually, we hadn't seen it until they started talking about it. And she put it in her grid where she had put some crystals and the singing bowls were there and stuff. And so we kind of included it. She was just sending it like love and healing and to the babies and stuff. But they were telling us, some more pictures. That was another Sasquatch dwelling.
Sasquatch structure. Yeah, you could feel Sasquatch super strong in this area.
And there's another burnt piece of wood. So we had a whole conversation with the trees. And then we, this is the area that we were from a different angle. This is her baby tree that she was telling me that she was so proud about. Here, it's like little. And then this is her. And you see the stumps. These are the family members. She had said that they had lost a lot. But across the street, once we kind of were looking, we could see more of the trees. And that mountain that's over here that I had shown the picture of, it's on this side. It said to me that it bared witness to the, is that?
Go back a corner.
Let's see. Burnt branches base. Yeah, I guess that was, where's that mountain? There it is. This one. It said it bared witness to the whole thing.
What, the fire?
Yeah, the fire. When she was telling me about it, she was actually showing me a picture. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Wow. And then I think when we went back down and we were talking to the lady at the front desk, she said the fire had happened like a year prior, right?
Yeah, we went back to that and we were asking about it.
Yeah. And she said, oh yeah, that fire came through about a year ago. And it's like, oh my gosh. So it was just kind of really interesting. I mean, not that we don't trust Lisa, to like have Lisa have the communication with the tree and tell her what all was happening. And then all of a sudden we're finding the evidence of the fire. We're finding the nursery all around us. And it was just really great evidence for all the testimony the tree had given us.
Yeah, that was incredible. And then that's when we got back in the car and we looked and you said, hey, wait, how
do we not have any gasoline at all?
Right. And you were like, what time is it? Like, what time did we go? Well, we know that apparition shows up around 2:30.
2 or 2:30. Yeah, somewhere there.
2 every day. And we felt like, because we had picked that spot because the sun was kind of coming through the mountains. And then as soon as we got like set up, it quickly went away. And we were like freezing. We were like really, really cold. And so we weren't out there a super long time. And I got a thing hearing about an ethereal being, if you remember, they were talking, and I'm wondering now if it was like that. So I was like looking up, and I was like, Katie, lay down with me. And we like look up, and so you're putting the bowls away, and we're both like laying there. And it felt like we were there maybe what, 25 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say 30 minutes at the max.
Yeah, like total.
Yeah.
And then we get in the car, and it's like
138.
yeah, it was like I
2
don't know, it was
hours.
like- yeah, we lost like, and we were thinking like 10 minutes up the road, 30 minutes there.
Yeah.
Like what,
It doesn't. Over 2 hours should not have passed.
and all that gas. And
And all
I
the
spoke to Katie in the chorus, Katie, and she really felt like this happened while we were driving up the mountain, that it did not happen. Because I was thinking when we were looking up and we were doing like our meditation, didn't explain the gas, of course, but I thought maybe when we were looking up and we were looking at the sky and everything, that maybe that's when something happened. But she was like, I don't think so. I think that
I must have happened when we were driving up the mountain. But I mean, now that I think about it, like, I think I was pretty ungrounded when we sat down and we're doing the bowls and stuff. Like, I think I was pretty ungrounded when we got to that point anyway, because we didn't walk very far. We're like, oh, let's just do it right here, you know?
Yeah, that was crazy. And then that little blue being we saw again, because we were so after we left and we went down, we decided that we were going to try to get one more thing in. And you said, where does that road go to? Because where that cave was.
Yeah. Do you have that picture from the top too?
No, all that's gone.
Oh no, I think I've got it. Let me see if I can find it real quick and I can share it.
Okay, do you have her set so she could share?
See.
Yeah, no, that all got, and we saw some really interesting mountains on the other side. So that side of Kyle Canyon goes up to, you have to put it so she can share.
I think she just tried this on.
We did it before. We did it one time before where she.
I think I can do it. I see the present button on here.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
okay, so hit cancel. Our last time before when we were driving up there, we saw interesting shaped mountains, right? They kind of had that Fibonacci kind of looking swirling to them.
Yes, yeah.
And we started feeling an entirely different energy going up there. It felt very ET. If you remember, it was kind of like all of a sudden we were kind of like, at one point you pulled over and we just got out of the car because it was like so strong. It was like, whoa.
Yes. We pulled over that one spot and I was like, we've got to get out. Oh, because we saw the 2 burros right there too. So they have wild burros and wild horses in that area. And we did get to see a couple of the burros.
And we jumped out of the car to go see them, and we took some pictures. And again, we're getting these light codes and everything. And then we see that little blue being again in my picture. Yeah.
Let's see. I post on Facebook too much.
Yeah.
So did you see another blue being too, or just that one?
No. I mean, we saw it on 2 different sides of the mountains. Like we were at Cathedral Mountain, and then we were going up Lee Canyon up to go to Lee Canyon. And the mountains started talking to me again.
Here it is.
And you were visualizing something about you were talking about when you drive, how you just kind of see like almost like this rainbow kind of energy.
Oh, there was rainbow energy. I forgot about that. There was I can see in that week in Sedona that I'd been there, I'd started seeing like, I don't know, 400-foot tall rainbow beings in the sky and stuff. And so I was seeing those beings in the sky, but also like just every which way I turned, it was just like rainbow energy. It was really strong. I'm going to share my screen real quick and then show you guys this. I'll just do the entire screen. Can you see
I was crying, Alexis. Alexis said that tree tragedy, she would have been bawling. I was like crying while I was telling her the story.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Arcturian being at the bottom of the mountain, the first one that we took. You can see the blue right here. And then after we drove up that big road that Lisa was talking about, this is at the top of that mountain. And here's the exact same Arcturian being. So like here it is at the top. And if you look
Yeah.
at it looks like there's like a ball and then like a almost like vase neck or something. And then here it is at the bottom. And you can see it's the same thing. And see, it even has this, it almost has like a rainbow skirt around it.
Yeah.
You see that rainbow skirt?
I was thinking like a hoverboard.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? And then I'm gonna, well, I've got this pulled up. Let me see. I might pull one more thing. Oh, let's see. Google Photos. Sorry, I took a bunch of photos. I'm selling some furniture and stuff, so there's a bunch of random stuff in here. But here's the top of those mountains. I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous up here. The light codes were going absolutely insane. You can see, like, I can just look at that right now and see intense amount of rainbow energy in there. Look at, I mean, the way that the lights separate.
Look at that.
That's where the burrows went down, and we got out there.
Yeah.
And we were kind of looking, and they went down that very steep path. But do you see all that rainbow energy? And you could feel it, right, Katie? It was like,
you could. I mean, I was in tears just standing at the top of this mountain, feeling the rainbow energy. And then, like, the way these mountains are, it almost looks like the rock was melted at one point.
Yeah, look at that.
It's that crack in there in the middle.
Yeah.
But you could really just strongly feel the rainbow energy in this place.
Yeah. It was incredible.
Here's more of the Mother Mary, or whatever you want to call it.
Look at that.
I don't know. You can see she's kind of moving around a little bit.
Yeah.
What was that?
That was my video.
Oh, look at see when at the certain point where you feel like you can see the like a head and the arms.
Yeah.
You can,
her arms are down to the side. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where's the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. No. There it is. Okay. Yeah. So that was incredible. We had gone and done a meditation before we went out.
Tenth of Lee Canyon.
And yeah, it was on the way up to Lee Canyon. We never made it that far because the sun was kind of going down. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the mountains started talking to me, and then they were saying something about, there was like a gratitude and an excitement, like almost like it felt joyous that we were there. And I was getting that there in this area, humans kind of come up there and they don't do great things. And I was telling Katie about that, and we hadn't gone this one direction too far yet. And then all of a sudden she was like, one of these times we should go up that road, because you could probably get a really cool like aerial thing. And then within seconds of you saying that, we had driven just enough where we could see these towers, right? And this building up there that almost looks like a mosque type rounded top.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's where it was. Because I was thinking when I was hearing that humans kind of go up there, like our energy was good, that we were bringing it. It was light and loving and all of that, because when humans kind of go up there, sometimes they don't do the best things. I was thinking like regular people. I was like, whoa, what do they do? Like murder people and throw them off the cliff? Like, I didn't know, but then I was realizing, no, it's there.
That's probably when they just want to have some fun.
Yeah. It's like our government.
There's definitely some military around there. You can feel it.
Yeah.
Hey, Katie, I don't know if you saw, but Victor said, I think he's sending you a picture.
Oh, Victor.
Yeah. And Nancy, I think you're correct. I know, Lisa has amazing gifts, and then seeing what Katie does personally, and then watching, seeing her with the land and earth is she's very gifted. So that's why when both of them were going together up there, I was like, something is going to happen.
Yeah. It's funny because we were just talking about that on our show with Solrita. When you're around people who have these things anyway, it feels like you step each other's game up, right? Like things get heightened and it all gets, and that's why it's so important to go to the conferences and that stuff, because you kind of can be around these people, and it's like we're all activating each other.
That's why
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Leaving already? I wanted her to stay.
I was so sad that she had to go so fast. She's gonna come
We
back. In the
do. We
spring,
just
though.
activate each other. It's really incredible. I mean, that whole trip was super activating, but it's funny because it's like I was super excited about Sedona and all that stuff, of course, but it's like, Sedona's amazing and incredible and all the wonderful things, but like Mount Charleston was just as powerful. I mean, it was like I could feel as soon as we got there, it was almost like the energy, it was like super excited to just get in and hook on to some of my energy. And it was like, oh, thank God, relief,
Yeah.
like we were definitely being called to do some really serious grid work there. It felt very purposeful, very strong. I feel like I've got some super extreme long time ago, past lifetime stuff in that area as well. I think it's kind of tied into like the Grand Canyon and some other areas as well. But it felt, you could feel, like you said, that the mountains were kind of telling you thank you and whatnot. You could feel the relief and the gratitude of the mountains and the area around there. It was extremely palpable.
Yeah. And it was funny because we walked away from there feeling like we're going to plan something in the future. To invite people to come be with us there, because it's really a powerful place, and you don't think it's going to, you don't think Las Vegas is going to have anything, like that. And honestly, we didn't get enough. Like when you come back, I have a couple of the places to show you, because, there's more. I mean, there's a lot more. So,
well, but like what you were talking about with Vegas being what it is, Lisa was explaining to me, and correct me or, whatever, add on if I need to add anything, but there is really strong energy there. And so it makes a lot of sense that they want to put that darkness over to dampen and to weaken and to darken the energy that is available there. Because energy is just energy, right? It depends on if you put whatever good or bad into it that amplifies it to be the direction of which it goes. But so you can, it makes it feel very, when Lisa was explaining this, like it just made so much sense. They're adding all of this darkness, all of this sin, all these things to really dampen and darken the energy. And so when you go over to this area, she was kind of explaining, it's like the energy wants out. So it's almost like it's seeping through this, like they weren't successful, and the energy, the good energy is still seeping out in different areas. And this is one of the areas where it's like, as they're pushing all the good energy out of Vegas, like maybe this is one of the areas where it's like releasing out into. And I know that they're doing dark stuff there too, in this Mount Charleston area. But if we get enough light workers there and grid workers there, I think we can do some really incredible grid work.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I, just about that, the Las Vegas Valley, I was shown, and I talk about this in my book a little bit, and I think I even did a picture about it, because when I was looking at this, they were saying that this was a very ancient, like powerful valley of this area. And so like the dark ones had to come in and try to put an overlay on top of the land to kind of hold it down and to keep it down. And they were successful in a couple of places that they, were trying to hone it down, to kind of push it down. But the mountains held the energy so much so that they weren't able to do, because they really wanted it to be like a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. And there are pockets of that in Las Vegas, as we all know. And then it's funny because the area right behind those mountains that we were at, on the other side of that is another town. It's called Pahrump. And that's where there's legalized prostitution. People think that it's legalized in Vegas. It's not. I mean, it's prevalent, but it's not. But in Pahrump it is. And it was so funny because my guidance was telling me that more really good people started moving into that area and started changing the dynamic of that area and mixing it up too. And so now you go out in that area and there are people, that own horses and have like all of this stuff that's not what they were intending at all. But it's kind of like they can't do it. But in my book, I show a picture where they showed me that the valley is surrounded by these mountains, and the mountains were lit up like a golden crown around the valley. And that's what they were showing me about them not being able to do it. And it looked like gold overlaid on top of these. And then and it was light. And so there's definitely.
Well, you can see the mountains when you look at one. One looks like a Native American guy, right? Like laying on his back.
Indian,
and you can see it, and it looks like that. And why I got the ancient feel of is when you're driving in or driving out, when they say the wind creates the what is it called? It deteriorates the side of the rock, so you get all these different formations. But they literally look like little places, like places where people would actually live, or a statue where I go like, there's no way the wind is blowing.
And making a face.
No, that's what we kept saying. Like as we were driving in that 10-minute drive in, it looks like, oh, this was an ancient building and this was an ancient structure. And here was like an apartment complex, or, like you can see the ancient city that was there.
Yeah.
You can see So I don't think it's just like wind deterioration. It just don't make sense.
No, it's incredible. I was so excited for you to get all the things that you got out of that, because, as I said, that I'm so connected to this area, and sometimes begrudgingly, because I really want to go somewhere that's like green, but I don't think it's in the cards for me, especially now that I've gone to Sedona. I'm going to be really honest. Like, I see myself there. And I was telling him, as soon as we get Gij out, I really wanted, that's why I took him back when we went to go see Soul, like a week after I was there with you, because I was like, you have to see this. And if it resonates with you the way it resonates with me.
Yeah, because I'm not one like, I'm not great with feeling stuff. Like she always saying, like you feel like you have no awareness, like you just walk, like you have no idea what's happening. But when I went down, driving down that mountain, I mean, the energy in Sedona, like kind of smacks you right in the face. It's like boom.
Yeah. It's pretty strong.
Yeah. And that's why we went to Mount Charleston, and we did a meditation, and she showed me the tree and everything, and we were sitting there, and it was really to kind of, I felt like to prep for Sedona, and going there, and I think going from Mount Charleston and then a few days later going to Sedona, I think you're really able to feel the strength of that energy.
Yeah. Yeah, the planet's amazing, and there's so many places that you can kind of go and see. I'm still trying to figure out what was going on with the apparition. I'd really like to go back up there and kind of, see if we could do that. Tyler was saying to me, did you guys climb up there? I'm like, no.
No, but they did say you can hike up there, and then the cave, you can go all the way through the mountain. So people, like, next time we go, we're going to hike up there. We didn't have enough time this time, but you can go all the way through the caves. So it's like,
we're going to try it. And what I really want to do is I want to have somebody have a camera down at the base.
I'll do that.
So
I ain't going in there. I don't know. Yeah.
And then we can go up and be there too at the same time, because I want to see, like, if we go and we can see the apparition, is it, can you see it at the bottom, or can you see it at the bottom and then we get up there and we can't see anything? Or, what that is. But I really want to be there during that for that. So I hope that that's still happening in the spring, because
I do too. I mean, that was a really incredible experience. I mean, to sit there, and that thing's only been coming around for a couple months, but as you start to think about it, and you're like, all right, well, the ascension's happening, the energies are changing. So much has happened in the last few months, few years, whatever, all of it. But Mary is one of the ascended masters that actually does show up to people. She's been known, I think she's shown up 7 times to children around the world.
In Medjugorje, Yugoslavia, I know she was doing it in the 80s during that time. I did a pilgrimage and went there when I was actually pregnant with my first son, Dominic. So,
well, and it just, whatever it was, I mean, if it was her or if it was something else, it definitely felt like it was something that was showing up as a sign of the world moving forward and things activating, and this whole new energy that we're trying to bring in, the 5D earth, the ascension, the crystalline grid, you know, that we're trying to bring into our own bodies and Mother Gaia. It just felt like it was some kind of apparition that was finally showing up saying you guys are on the right path. And
Yeah.
apparitions for anybody that visits that Mount Charleston area, you know, and it's just one of those signs that it's like, you know, these things really are happening. I mean, it's pretty incredible that thing's only been showing up for a couple months, but it's showing up every day now. You know,
I get the feeling more and more like you see Nancy is saying her bucket list to go to Sedona or Shasta, which I want to go to Shasta too.
Victor said he wants to go to Sedona too. Victor, you got to go. I'll go at the same time you're going so we can say hi.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's why I think the conferences more than almost anything it's important, is because I think it builds momentum, because there's more people who creates a real potency in the grid work. And I think that's key, because it's great when everybody's doing their part, but when you get a crew of people together that have real gifts and love for Earth and want to move forward in the ascension, or and those type of energies, I think having a group of people doing it has got to be very, very, the power in that's got to be just amazing.
Yeah. Well, like when we did the meditations at Tony's conference, to have that many people in one room and have some, Lily led the meditations, and it was just, I mean, it was next level impressive.
Intense. Yeah, it was really intense. And honestly, I don't even think you have to have a room full of people with abilities. I think it's just the willingness to engage, be open, and to try to have a want to connect. And that's really all it takes, and you'd be amazed at some of the things, that can happen. Because for most of us, that's where it all started. It started with meditation. And we all built abilities from going there and doing that. So it's incredible. I'm interested to see what happens with the apparition. I'd really like to see if we see it again. And I think, if we can make our trip where we can invite other people and stuff again, there's a few places to go that would be really, really cool.
Yeah, this is a place that we need to get people to come visit for sure.
People see apparitions maybe once if they're lucky in a lifetime. We're like, we got to see it again and again and again.
Yeah,
I didn't see any apparitions in Shasta or Sedona.
Right? I mean, it was incredible. It was totally left field. The trees was a phenomenal, that in and of itself.
Yeah.
If nothing else happened, to have trees tell you a story about what was happening. And then we had walked right through the nursery. So when the trees were like, you walked right through our nursery. And I was like, we did? And I turned back to look where we walked. And I was looking, I was like, Katie, they said that we walked. I was like, oh my God, look. Because I guess I kind of saw, they looked like shrubs. They were so little.
Yeah, I don't know. It just like totally went over our heads.
Yeah, I didn't notice them either. I walked right through it.
Yeah. And then when
I felt bad for a second, I was like, I didn't mean to walk through your nursery.
I know. And they were all this, but they were so proud, right, Katie? They were like excited and like, look at our nursery, look at our babies.
Yeah.
It was like we would be, like doting parents.
They were very proud.
They were, and they were so loving about their babies. And that one tree talking about her offspring, that was like a tearjerker. I mean, that was incredible. And then you start talking to them in your meditation and doing this, and I literally had tears rolling down my face because you were just sending them healing. And as I was telling you about the fire, you were looking around, and then you were like sending them so much love and healing and everything. And it felt like joyous. It felt like jubilee. It was just this, almost like the wind and the trees and the mountains and everything all at once. This huge, powerful surge came toward us, and it was like, love and like thank you and gratitude. It was incredible. It was really
maybe
really
the trees took us into their dimension for a little bit.
Yeah, we still can't figure out the gas thing. I don't know. I think Katie's probably onto something with it happening while we were driving, which is,
and it's a hybrid, so it's even better on gas than a normal car.
Yeah, it's like, how do you even feel like you can think about, like, I remember driving from seeing the apparition, us talking about that was cool. Oh my God, that was crazy. Talking about it, looking at the little town while we're driving through, and then I was telling you, about the other, I don't know, parts of it. And then all of a sudden, we're up. I mean, I didn't look at the thing again until we got back in your car, but I remember having a thought that I was thinking maybe your car time, like the thing glitched or something, because I pulled out my phone and you pulled out yours at the same time we looked, and it was all the same. Oh, it's 5:55 over here.
Mhm.
Oh,
Can you see
nice.
that? Anyway, and we pulled it out, and it was all the same. We're like, wait, how did that? And you were like, you want to know something even weirder? Like, we lost like 100 miles of gas. I'm like,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And you want
It's
to
a
know
pretty magical little area. It really
Oh,
is.
Nancy, thank you. I hope you
You
enjoy
want to know
it.
something funny? Okay, like they call here, like the Sin City, right? Because
Yeah.
and like Lisa was saying, with all the layers, what to try to add on top of it, because it was really, say, pristine or sacred land. And then you go just a little bit, down the road there to the City of Angels, Los Angeles, where they really do some evil shit. But that's the City of Angels, right? That's the City of Angels, and here's the city, but
City
what's
of
underneath?
Fallen Angels.
Yeah, but it makes you think. Everything they tell us is always backwards.
Right. I think I
Yeah.
added to that Sin City a few years in my before I woke up.
That's why I moved here.
Oh,
Maybe I had to come and do my own damage I did out there.
I think
I
there's
was
so
a
many
wild
people.
child before I woke up.
I think there's so many people that come here and they don't even realize. I mean, obviously, every time we go anywhere, whether you're awake or not to these things, like you're doing grid work,
Yeah.
just by being here and making yourself everywhere you go.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking about that in Sedona, all those people that were going to the stupa and didn't even realize that they were doing grid work by being there too.
Absolutely.
And they just think that they're visiting, So I think you've been doing grid work here for a long time, my friend. And I know you and I have felt a very, very deep connection almost from when we met. It was kind of like weird, like, okay, you call people like your friend or whatever. She, like, Katie feels like a soul sister.
Yeah, like there's a true something there.
Yeah. There's
and it came out of nowhere. It was just since the last conference.
it was the first conference for me. When we went to Grafton.
Yeah.
And I met her, and it was so interesting because she was saying that she had a connection with Arcturians, and my first book is strongly about me finding out that I have a connection with Arcturians, and so. But
the last one we just went to, after it felt like her connection to you got very strong, because you kept. She said it over and over again that Katie keeps popping in my mind.
Yeah,
Katie, and I'm going, who? Because we have lunch with Katie, the other Katie, and I was like, "Oh, Katie," and she's like, "No, Mabrey." I was like, "Oh," but she's like that's my sis, like that's my friend.
Yeah,
I think we've done a few lifetimes together.
She was saying it.
Well, I reached out to her too because I just started getting all these downloads for her.
Yeah,
and I was like, Katie, this and this and this and this, and then you were like.
Which was super helpful.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad it was helpful.
I mean, that connection got strong really fast. Just in hearing you start saying it a lot, and I was like,
well, it was like almost like I didn't disconnect when because sometimes you get stuff, and how like you stay on, and you like keep getting stuff, and you're kind of like, okay, thank you, like I'm good now, because they'll keep going, and you'll keep hearing stuff. But with you, it was like I couldn't turn it off. It was just and this, and so then I'm like, I'm like. And blah 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 blah. Right now.
My higher self talks as much as I do.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. But that's right. Like you always say, those retreats, they feel like family reunions, even though you may have met first like the one or two times. It's just like a family member that it is pretty incredible to me, because that's not how I had my friends since I was like 5 years old in Brooklyn, and that's like those are my friends. Anyone else, like I can't. It's very hard for me to establish other friends until this.
Meanwhile, he called. I told you. I showed you a text from him when we were in Sedona. He's like, "Katie's my girl."
Yeah.
He loves you. He loved you
Yeah,
right
it's-
away.
Great connections with both of you guys. I mean, from day one, I knew that. It's been, but that's kind of how these things are. We're finally we're re-meeting our soul family.
Yeah. Figuring out who's who in this whole dynamic. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing. It'd be really interesting to see where you guys go next. Or
Yeah.
where this goes.
She froze again. Well, we were going to wrap up anyway, so we'll see if she's going to come back on. Oh, Nancy's from Brooklyn too, Williamsburg.
Oh, nice.
Johnny's from
Bensonhurst.
Bensonhurst.
I got lost in Williamsburg a long time ago. I was coming back from the World Fair and upstate in Aqueduct Raceway, and we got lost. It was before they put all brownstones there, so it wasn't. We got lost in the wrong neighborhood late at night. But it was in Williamsburg. It's beautiful now. It's all brownstones.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Victor. That's it. It's like you start around each other, and Victor's saying that he felt the same way after meeting everyone at Journey to Truth. Well, it looks like we lost Katie, so we'll be ending this now. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I hope you enjoyed our very interesting adventure at Mount Charleston, and stay tuned because we really want to see if we can do something up there too. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. And
yes, thank you everybody. And I couldn't wait to hear them talk. I didn't know about the blue bing, so that was a
we
wild
had so
one.
many more pictures of it too. It's like, but anyway, things happen, right? But
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We love you all, and
please like, share, and subscribe. And if you think anybody that would be interested in this, we're trying to grow our channel, so we'd really appreciate your help.
Yeah, that'll be great. And have a great Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.